Mark Rogers TV headed out to the Pac-12 to talk Arizona football. We bring in Bryant Conger. You can catch him on Wildcat Radio. Arizona at 4-2, 2-1 in the Pac-12 with a resounding win over UCLA, 47-30. It's the Cats' worst team in the Pac-12 last season, but no more. Again, 4 wins and 6 outings. Bryant, we appreciate you jumping on board here.
Oh, thanks for having me, Mark. I'm super excited. It's very exciting to talk about a team that, like you mentioned, wasn't really that great last year. But we found a captain. We have a captain of the ship, and we're rolling. Khalil Tate's just been incredible. I mean, there's just so many things that he does that have reinvigorated this program. I think the team's playing better, playing with more confidence. They're playing like they can actually win the games, and it's been really a pleasure to watch.
So let's start with Khalil Tate. I've got to admit, on the night that he broke the record against Colorado, so he ran for 327 yards, a game that he didn't even start at quarterback, an FBS single game record at the quarterback position. I was checking out 2 other Pac-12 games. I wasn't available. It wasn't available in my area. I find out he breaks this record, and yeah, it's pretty remarkable that he didn't even start the game. He was locked into a bit of a quarterback battle with Brandon Dawkins. So can you tell us what Khalil Tate brings to the team, where Dawkins' status is both physically and in terms of continuing to try to wage war for this quarterback spot?
Oh, sure. I think the first thing to mention is don't feel bad that you didn't watch that Arizona-Colorado game. If I were a national person covered everything, that wouldn't be the first game on my schedule. I think what Khalil brings to the table, and he is the quarterback now. I think Dawkins had his opportunity. He had been in the program for a number of years and just couldn't do it. And the problem that happened last year was Arizona fans had to choose between 53% completion rate with Brandon Dawkins and 40% completion rate with Khalil Tate. Tate just wasn't there yet. The game was too fast for him as a freshman. He's lost 20 pounds this year, and you can just tell in his reads and his accuracy and his confidence that he really has figured out how this game works at a collegiate level. But really what he brings to the table is just a dynamic ability to just hit a hole and be gone. I laughed about 3 times out loud when we played Colorado. Arizona couldn't stop Phillip Lindsay for the life of us. He's an incredible running back for Colorado. And the game went back and forth. And the thing that was so impressive about Tate is we pretty much had to score every single time we touched the ball, and we did. And it was pretty much every time he touched the ball. He's averaging 16.5 yards a carry, more than a first down and a half every time he runs that football. So it's pretty exciting. It'll be interesting to see what happens, though, now that more coaches have game film on him and we're kind of running against some better teams that play an actual run defense. Like UCLA and Colorado aren't the best of the cream of the crop in the Pac-12. But even when we play some decent teams, I think you'll see that Tate's still going to open those holes and be gone in a couple of these touches here.
So Arizona, as we mentioned off the top of Bryant, 4-2, now 2-1 in the Pac-12 after winning just the 1 game in conference last season. You keep winning, and more eyeballs, unlike mine a couple weekends ago with Khalil Tate breaking the rushing record, are going to be on this program and watching those late night games, at least for us on the East Coast. Besides Tate, who are some of those other players, both on offense and defense, that people may want to see?
Yeah, there's some really good players on this team, and it's interesting because you got to feel for Rich Rodriguez, right? The recruiting went down, and I think that's on the coaching staff for a couple of years. But what happened was this defense is built basically of young players. And if you looked at our roster going into the season, basically you're kind of asking yourself, who on earth is going to fill the shoes here? And it's been the freshmen. And I think what you're going to see now is these players that have really stepped up at a level that most freshmen don't. These players that he brought in, people like Colin Schooler at linebacker, Kylan Wilburn at the defensive end. He had 4 sacks against UCLA, just a monster game. Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles, who is in the secondary, he's more of a veteran player, but he has about 4 interceptions already and really has a knack for causing turnovers and some havoc in that secondary. It's been kind of fun because these players are playing at a level that I wouldn't expect them to have played as freshmen. So this year they'll be fine. Like, they have a really good awareness of where to be, particularly our linebacking core. They're just in the right spot at the right time, particularly Schooler and Fields, Tony Fields. These guys are really good. But the next couple of years, you can just see the talent really developing with them, and that's going to grow pretty quickly. On the offensive side, one of the players that really keep a lookout for is a guy named J.J. Taylor. He's this kind of water bug running back. And he, if you played NCAA football and you use that little joystick to move back and forth. He does that really well, where he kind of jumps and hops side to side. He needs to be able to figure out how to run vertically rather than just side to side. But he really has an opportunity to grow as a player, particularly with Tate kind of taking some pressure off of him in the backfield. Finally, you have Nick Wilson, a player that's been in the program for years. He started as a freshman, had some injury problems. He always does. You know, death taxes and Nick Wilson being injured is kind of what's going on in Tucson. But he seems to have gotten his groove back. He averaged about 5.5 carries against UCLA.